Dennis Cooking School here in Murraysville, Pennsylvania. And I had started the business because I love to share all the knowledge I've accumulated over time with cooking and baking. So I hope that you'll enjoy coming along with me on a little adventure, and we will take some time to show you as best I can the things that I've learned, and hopefully you'll enjoy making the things too. Thanks so much. So today I thought we would do something fun. Everybody loves pizza, and it is actually quite easy to make. So if you're ever stuck at home again, like we were all in this pandemic, you'll at least be able to do this all on your own. So I have a recipe that uses a food processor, and what we're going to start with is there's 2 cups. You can use all-purpose flour, but I also have a pizza flour, which it's a type of dough. It's a little bit softer than an all-purpose flour, and it gives you a little bit more of a tender crust. But that's really, that's up to personal preference and what kind of supplies you have on hand. But this is from a local company here in Pittsburgh called Pennsylvania Macaroni Company, and they have all kinds of pasta flour, pizza dough flour, and so I kind of have fun using that. And then I'll explain a little bit to you about the yeast. Fleischmann's makes an instant pizza crust yeast, which all you have to do is when you are done making your dough, you actually roll it out right away, put it on the pan, put your sauce and your cheese on, and any of the toppings that you like, and it goes in the oven. So you can have your pizza in a half hour or less. There's, if you cannot find that, which I can only find this online these days, is there's also quick rise pizza. Quick rise yeast. And then for regular yeast, I have here, I thought I would show you, you can use the packets, or else there is a jar of the yeast. And if you're going to do a lot of baking with yeast, nice to have. And 2 teaspoons equals 1 packet of yeast. So we're going to put 2 cups of flour, and then we have 1 packet of yeast, or in this case 2 teaspoons. And we have a teaspoon of sugar, and the yeast needs the sugar for the rising. The yeast actually consumes the sugar, and then that's what makes it all expand. And then we have a teaspoon of salt, and you don't want to over salt it, because salt actually, too much salt will kill the yeast. A little bit is fine for it, but that's all that you really need. We put in 3/4 of a cup of water. And I'm just eyeballing this, feel free to measure. And then you put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in. And that's everything we need. And then all we do is process this. Those come together pretty quickly. And we're going to take a test of it here and see what the consistency is. Now this feels a little bit dry, so we are going to add a little bit more water. And your texture should be where it just has a tiny little sticky feeling to your fingers. You can feel free to do this by hand, but it's really nice to have the food processor to help you along, and that helps in the kneading process. All right, so this is pretty good. And we're just going to make sure it's all together. All right, and then we're just going to take a bowl, which I had already put some olive oil in there, and you set your dough in, and then you just kind of turn it around. You just want to have the olive oil on there for the process. And then I dampen a kitchen towel, and I put that over that, and then you can have it rise on the counter, or if you're in your oven, if you can have it go up to about 100 degrees. You don't want it to be really hot, but the yeast does need a little bit of warmth to do its thing. And then you just let that rise for about 2 hours. And if that is the traditional yeast, And if you're using the quick start, that'll take about 15-20 minutes or so for that to double up. You want the dough to double, excuse me. And then, as again, for the instant yeast of the pizza crust yeast, you can put this right away onto your pizza stone. So next, I'm going to get, you can use several different things to make your pizza. And that you can use a round pizza pan, like an aluminum one. You can use a cookie sheet. And then I have a pizza stone in the oven. And we're going to make our sauce next. And then we will put all this together. Let's move our ingredients out of the way. All right. So next for the pizza sauce, this is only going to take a few minutes to cook. So I use tomato paste, and you put your tomato paste in your pan. I've already had that in there. And then I get a whisk, and you put 3 cans worth of water into your tomato paste. And we're just very thick, so the first can, of course, is just kind of getting all of your ingredients blended there. So it doesn't matter what size can that you use. We're going to mix this around. Our flavorings. I will give you the recipe while this is heating up. So we have salt. I'll give you the proportions here momentarily. And we have some garlic powder and oregano. I have my nice big containers because I use all these ingredients all the time. Some restaurants just make up their sauce and have it cook on the dough. That was basil, and here is some onion powder. Put some olive oil in here. Blend these up. It's all mixed together, and then we're going to put it on the stove here and just get it rolling a little bit. Right. Right. So for the pizza sauce, so to 1 small can of tomato paste, as we've used here today, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, salt to taste, a tablespoon of onion powder, and then 2 tablespoons of dried basil, and 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. And that's you can adjust the ingredients to your taste, but that's just the basis to get you started for the proportions. So we're going to move this out of the way. Bring out our pizza stone. So I like to use a pizza stone, and that is nice. You put that in the oven for about a half an hour at 425 to 450, depending on your oven. And it helps to get the crust of the pizza nice and crisp on the bottom. Now I've made some dough ahead of time, so we're going to roll that out. And cornmeal is really nice to use on the bottom. You've probably seen it on the bottom of like Italian bread and also pizza dough. So if you ever wonder what that little crunchy stuff is on the bottom, that's what that is. So we punch our dough down. And you can use a rolling pin, or you can just use your fingers. And depending on how you like your pizza, if you like it to be a thicker crust, make sure that you keep it thick enough for your taste. I kind of prefer a thinner crust. And you can leave a little extra thickness on the edges to kind of keep your sauce and your cheese on your pizza. But if you don't, that's okay too. Obviously, be careful working with your stone because it's going to be hot. And then we just take our dough, just put it over on the pan. And keep it as round as you would like it. You can make this in any shape that you like too. If you like on a cookie sheet, it'll be rectangular. Actually, in Italy, a preferred, in a lot of regions, the preferred shape is the rectangle. And you can go by little markets, and they have the pizza out up on up on top of little shelves for people just to come by and hand them the money, and you grab whatever piece you want from there. It's really kind of fun to watch. All right, so our sauce is boiling. You don't need a lot of sauce. This is actually sizzling already on the pan. And we'll put just a little bit more on there. And we'll grab the cheese. All right. Now this will be a margherita pizza, so I have sliced up some fresh mozzarella. Again, you put out however much you want. If you only like a little bit of cheese, just put a little on, and if you really like a lot, just load it up. So it really doesn't take too long to make. Doesn't have many ingredients. And we are good now to put our pizza in the oven. And there you have it. And that only needs to be in about 10 minutes, and then it's ready to eat. So hope you enjoy.